Hello, teacher friends. Welcome back to the UX Teacher Prep Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Z, and I hope you're enjoying your summer so far. Finally, a much-needed break from the school year. You earned it. Today, I'm bringing back a popular episode from last summer. It's just as relevant now, especially for new listeners. And since the tech landscape is evolving so quickly with AI, I've updated this episode to include common AI-related interview questions for 2025. So this is all about top UXR job interview questions, and I hope it's helpful. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the UX Teacher Prep Podcast, the ultimate destination for educators who aspire to break into the field of user experience and product design. Your host, Z Arnold, a 15-year teacher turned UX researcher, is here to guide, coach, and mentor you through every twist and turn as you make your career transition into tech. If you're ready for a more satisfying career and lifestyle, and you want the balance to unleash your creativity, this podcast is for you. Now for the show.
One thing I did a lot of research on when I was interviewing for UX jobs was the interview questions. As a teacher going into a new field, I wanted to know what kinds of questions I'd have to answer and what kind of information I would need to know so I could be ready. I've talked to a few clients in the interview stage who have asked me, how should I prepare for my UX research interview? So in today's episode, I'll answer that question based on my own experience, UX professionals I've spoken to, and research that I've done. Now, as I go through these commonly asked questions for UX research interviews, I'm going to also provide a possible answer, and these will all be based on the perspective of a teacher transitioning to an entry-level UX position, not someone who's already working in UX, so keep that in mind. I'm also going to tell you who might ask each question, since you're likely to be interviewed by a panel of different employees like hiring managers, UX designers, and product managers. Finally, I'm going to tell you the why behind the question to help you tailor your best possible answer. And to be clear, these are example responses, but you definitely want to answer based on projects that you've personally worked on. So first, here are two questions a hiring manager might ask. What methodologies do you find most effective for UX research? With this question, the hiring manager is interested in your knowledge of different methods and your versatility. So by understanding your preferred research method, they can gauge whether your approach aligns with the company's needs and the complexity of the projects that you might be working on. So here's a possible answer. I find a mixed methods approach most effective, combining qualitative methods like user interviews and usability testing with quantitative methods like surveys. This combination provides a well-rounded view of the user behaviors and attitudes, allowing for deeper insights and robust recommendations. Next question they might ask, how do you stay current with trends and advancements in UX research? So here, the manager wants to make sure you're proactive about continuous learning and staying updated with industry trends. This question assesses your commitment to professional development and your ability to bring fresh, new perspectives to the team. So you can answer by saying something like, I stay current by attending UX conferences, participating in workshops, and reading industry publications. I engage in online UX communities and take relevant online courses in my spare time, and that helps me keep up with the new tools and methodologies. Now, why is this important? The field is constantly changing, especially now with the advent of AI. So hiring managers want to make sure you stay on top of what's happening so they can remain competitive in their company. So I'm jumping in here to add a few more AI-related questions for 2025. Here's one. Do you use AI in your research process? If so, how? Now, this question is getting increasingly more relevant. You could be using AI or programs that have embedded AI for summarizing user interviews, analyzing qualitative data, or creating personas. And if you're still teaching, think about how you're using AI in your current teaching or planning process. Are you using AI to grade student work, analyze student data, as an assistant to streamline or save time on lesson planning? Think about how you're using AI in your regular everyday work process. And the key thing here is to emphasize that AI is an assistant, not a replacement. And this is going to show that you understand how to use AI, but also understand its biases and limitations. Here's another one. What are the challenges users face when interacting with AI, and how would you uncover them? And in this case, the interviewer is looking for signs that you understand trust, explainability, predictability, and error tolerance when it comes to AI. And the last AI question I want to tell you about is this one. How do you account for users' mental model of AI? And in this question, the interviewer is probing how well you understand users' often inaccurate expectations of how AI works. Now, I know I just explained a lot to you and it might not be 100% clear on the AI side, but I can't give it to you all for free. So if you want to hear some great responses to those AI-related questions, if you're a UX researcher or if you're a teacher, you'll have to sign up for a coaching call through my website. Back to the programming. So next, here are 2 questions a UX researcher or senior UX researcher who already work at the company might ask you. Can you walk me through your process for conducting a usability test? And you can insert other UX methods here, like concept testing or in-depth interviews, but usability tests are very common in UX research. So the interviewer wants to understand how familiar you are with the standard UX research methods, and they want to make sure you have a structured approach to something like usability tests. So this question assesses your ability to plan, execute, and analyze usability tests, which are critical skills for a UX researcher. Your answer should focus on a research process like plan, recruit, test, analyze, synthesize, and track implementation. So here's an example of what that process might sound like, and this is a very shortened version. My process involves first defining the test objectives based on the user problems we're trying to solve. Then I draft a test plan, recruit participants who represent our target users, and create a discussion guide with tasks that reflect real-world scenarios. During the test, I observe and take notes on user interactions, identifying their pain points. After the session, I analyze the data and summarize the findings in a report with clear recommendations for improvements. Next, how do you handle conflicting feedback from different user groups? So UX research often involves navigating conflicting user needs and preferences. The interviewer is interested in your problem-solving skills and your ability to prioritize and make decisions based on different feedback from users. So this question gauges your ability to balance different perspectives and deliver actionable insights based on those perspectives. So here's a possible answer. When faced with conflicting feedback, I start by looking at the context and specific needs of each user group. I prioritize feedback based on how well it aligns with our primary user personas and our business goals. If needed, I conduct follow-up studies to get more clarity. Open communication with stakeholders helps me make informed decisions on how to address the varied feedback. For example, and then you could go ahead and provide an example from a recent project you worked on. I feel like you always need to have examples ready from recent projects, especially when there was some sort of conflict involved, because you need to show how you respond to conflict. Every job is going to have some type of conflict or pushback. So you have to be ready to show how you handle that. Now, UX researchers work very closely with UX designers. So here are 3 questions a UX designer might ask. The first one is, how do you ensure your research findings are actionable for designers? So the insight here is that designers rely on clear, actionable insights to create effective user experiences. The interviewer wants to ensure that you can translate your research findings into practical recommendations that designers can implement. So this question assesses your communication skills and your ability to collaborate with designers. Here's a possible answer. I focus on delivering clear and concise findings and next steps. I often use visuals like user journey maps and data charts. I work closely with designers throughout the process to make sure they understand the context and implications of the research. Regular feedback sessions and collaborative workshops help translate insights into actionable design recommendations. Another question is, can you give an example of how your research directly influenced a design decision? Here, the interviewer is looking for evidence of the impact of your research on actual design work. They want to see if you can provide concrete examples of how your insights have led to improvements or changes in the design, demonstrating the practical value of your research in particular. So you could answer something like, in a project where users were struggling with navigation, my research highlighted specific pain points related to unclear labeling. I recommended changes to the labeling and navigation structure, which the design team implemented. Follow-up testing showed that these changes significantly improved user task completion rates. And you can find an example from your specific work that can illustrate this. Okay, so the next question is, how do you balance the need for thorough research with tight deadlines? So the interviewer wants to understand your time management skills and your ability to prioritize tasks. UX research often operates under tight deadlines like many other jobs. So it's important to show that you can deliver valuable insights within time constraints without compromising the quality of your research. So a possible answer is, balancing thorough research with tight deadlines involves prioritizing key research questions and using efficient methods like remote usability testing or quick surveys. Effective time management and clear communication with the team about what's feasible within the given time frame are also crucial. And here you can provide an example of a time when you had to cut out some low-priority research questions to meet a tight deadline for a product launch. So as UX researchers, we pay a lot of attention to user behaviors and pain points to make sure the product is functional and user-friendly. Every product has a product manager, and a product manager oversees the development and life cycle of a product, and they balance the business objectives with the user needs and technical feasibility to make sure they deliver valuable solutions. So a product manager wants to make sure you fit into all of that. Here are 4 questions a product manager might ask you. 1. How do you align your research goals with business objectives? You can answer something like this. I start by understanding the business objectives and key performance indicators, also known as KPIs. I align my research questions with these goals to ensure that the insights I gather can drive strategic decisions. Regular check-ins with product managers help keep the research focused and relevant to the business priorities. Next question. Describe how you've used UX research to inform product strategy. So product managers want to know that your research can drive strategic decisions. So by asking this question, they're looking to understand your ability to influence product direction based on user insights, demonstrating your strategic thinking and the tangible impact of your research on the product roadmap. So you can say something like, in a past project, my research identified a user need for a feature that wasn't initially planned. By presenting user evidence and demonstrating its potential value, we prioritized this feature in our product strategy, which led to increased user satisfaction and engagement post-launch. And just to add some color to this, you'd want to be a bit more specific about the feature if possible. So for example, a feature could be a skip button on an app or an interactive whiteboard on a website. Next question is, how do you measure the impact of your research on a product? And the interviewer wants to see if you can track and quantify the outcomes of your research. Measuring impact is crucial for demonstrating the value of UX research to your stakeholders and to your company. So this question is basically assessing your ability to evaluate the effectiveness of your recommendations and their contribution to product improvements. So you can answer with something like this. I measure impact through metrics like user satisfaction scores, task completion rates, and overall engagement. Tracking changes in user behavior before and after implementing research-driven changes helps demonstrate the research's effectiveness. Gathering stakeholder feedback also helps understand how research has informed their decisions. And once you get into your UX research role, this is something that you want to remember to do. Keep your research alive. Once you've completed a project, make sure that you follow up and stay in the loop to see how these changes have impacted the product. And the last question is, can you discuss a time when you had to advocate for the importance of UX research to a skeptical stakeholder? And advocating for UX research is a big part of the job, and it's often a part of many UX researchers' jobs. The interviewer is interested in your communication and persuasion skills, as well as your ability to demonstrate the value of UX research to stakeholders who might not initially see how important it is. So this question assesses your ability to build support for UX initiatives within the organization. So one way you can answer this is, in one project, a stakeholder was skeptical about investing in UX research due to budget constraints. I highlighted case studies where UX research led to significant improvements in user satisfaction and business metrics. I also emphasized the risk of not conducting research, such as wasted development resources and poor user adoption. This helped secure buy-in for a streamlined research plan. All right, so those are some of the most common UX research interview questions, why they're important, and examples of how you might answer them. I hope this episode was helpful. And if you're looking for more support on your journey from teacher to UX, visit uxteacherprep.com.
Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. If you like this podcast, hit follow and scroll down to leave a 5-star rating, then share it with a friend. If you're looking for resources to help you on your tech transition journey, head over to uxteacherprep.com. Follow us on LinkedIn and Instagram at uxteacherprep for daily tips and motivation. Have a topic you'd like to hear addressed on the show? Send us a DM on Instagram. If you're listening on YouTube, like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, be well.